Hey guys, it's CarGuy11. Welcome to another CarGuy11 Live. This is the weekly show where we talk about the latest car news and the most interesting car news. So hopefully you'll join in on the chat and in the comments below. Definitely put some topics down there because we don't have a lot of news stories this week, but we do have a special guest, and this is in relation to my last video. So hopefully you guys saw it, and let me bring it up for you if you didn't. So my last video was teaching my girlfriend, CarGuy11, how to drive a stick. And this was something that she really was interested in, and I finally broke down and we gave it a try. So it was a pretty cool video. If you didn't see it yet, definitely check it out. And this was not staged at all. She's literally never been in the driver's seat. Well, maybe sat in it before, but never, definitely never driven it or anything. So hopefully it will inspire others that don't know how to drive a stick to give it a try. And hopefully I gave some good tips as well. So again, definitely check that one out if you haven't. And so anyway, without further ado, we have CarGuy11 tonight. How you doing, CarGuy11?
I'm doing well, CarGuy11. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I think it'll be pretty cool for you to kind of tell us about your experience. I know you were super excited about it, but you were also very nervous because you've never, ever driven a manual before, correct?
Yes, I have never done it. I never had anybody that had a manual to teach me when I was learning how to drive when I was younger. And then everybody just always had automatics. So I didn't really have an opportunity. I always wanted to drive the Vet. And the thing that kept me from driving it was a manual. I didn't know how to drive it.
And at first, I was
feeling it.
Yeah, at first I was kind of happy about that because no one would take my car.
The keys are always out, so there's an option there.
Yeah, don't tell people that. We got Billy Andrew on. Thanks for joining us tonight. Nice try on your first manual transmission class. I guess that's a compliment to both of us.
I think that's one for me.
Yeah. So overall, going into it, were you nervous? Were you excited? Both?
I thought I was in a dream. I was so excited. I had no idea what it would be like. I've envisioned how you would shift and do the clutch and drive, and I thought it would run a little smoother, but it was very difficult. Very difficult.
Right.
I think it's maybe more difficult to learn on that car because I was nervous to do any kind of damage. And it's not my own car. So I think the comfort level was not there at first.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. A lot of pressure. Plus you were on video.
Yeah, I was really nervous on video. But at first I forgot I was on video. So I think I did better not knowing.
Right.
Because you always have the cameras in the cars. So I've just gotten used to them over the last year. So, but yeah, I was being videoed.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. The first pull out, you actually didn't stall, and probably a lot of that was because you didn't even realize we were filming.
I know. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have told me, but I would have caught on eventually. Um, but it was good. We really didn't have before we did the video. I mean, you only told me a few things, right? We
Oh yeah.
really didn't go over much. It was mostly on camera, and I've even pressured him when I do sit in the driver's seat, just as a joke, and I'll say, "Please show me, please show me." He's like, "Out, out. You're not learning on this car."
And to be honest,
Thing.
I was having second thoughts that day. And I was like, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's getting late in the day. And the sun was in our eyes. You could see in the video. It was getting late. And I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you definitely had some second thoughts. And the fact is, I knew zero about shifting, other than it was like a standard H, and I thought I knew that. But yeah, it's definitely hard to teach. It was only one session, so believe me, fans, I've been hitting him up for session 2 already.
Well, I guess you passed session 1, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so the first thing, I wanted it unscripted, really. So I didn't teach her much, off camera. The only thing we did was get the seat in position so that she could push down the clutch the full way, and that was a little bit different too than you're used to, correct?
Yeah. Well, I envision the pushing down the clutch a lot easier because I've seen people shift and it just seems very smooth. This clutch, when you push it down, am I allowed to say, it like backfires like a gun. And
Yeah.
I couldn't get used to pushing it in and then releasing it gently. It would like pull back.
Right.
So that was the hardest part.
Yeah,
But
and that
yeah.
yeah, that's not typical. It's the Corvettes and more powerful cars have that very stiff spring and very stiff clutch because it's powerful. So you have to have that to engage the engine so it doesn't slip. But if you learn on like a Honda or a smaller, less powerful car, it would be easier. But yeah, I agree with you though. Like, this is a very difficult car to drive, and I have stalled this car, especially when I first got it. So it does take a little bit to get used to, and it's definitely not an easy car to learn stick on, especially if you've never done it. So good job all
Yeah.
around.
It
So
was fun. The only thing is, I feel like there's a lot to remember when you're first learning. And then all of a sudden, at one point, I was like, "Oh, wait, I'm going to hit the wall." So go turn. I mean, you get like too much. There's too much in your head. You're talking right through it. I'm trying to do it so I don't stall, and I maybe impress you, and then I'm very unimpressive because I think I steered and you were like, turn, 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 keep turning. And then you got nervous and it made me nervous.
yeah.
I hope that people thought that was funny. I think that was funny.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is too, you forget when you stop, like with the brake, you also have to push the clutch back in. So that it is a lot to remember when you're first learning, because you're using a leg or a foot that you're not used to using. So there's a lot to coordinate there, and that's why you would always start in a parking lot and get tons of practice in a parking lot before before hitting the roads, because then that's when the pressure is on, when someone's behind you honking their horn, and you have to kind of start quickly. You can't take your time releasing the clutch, and or if you stall out, then you get flustered and nervous. So And hills. We didn't even get the hills yet. That's a whole nother.
Hills. And then that one turn you took me on, there wasn't enough straightaway. I wanted to go faster. How do you go faster? We really didn't cover that.
Well, yeah, you do definitely need more straightaway, and in particular, with the Corvette, the gears are very tall. So first gear goes to 50 mile an hour, and second gear goes to I don't know what it is, 70, 80 maybe. So yeah, you don't shift a whole lot. Now in other cars that are less powerful, you would shift a lot more. But we did manage to get in the third gear. It's just we didn't have enough space, so we kind of bucked a little bit, and then we had to change back down. But yeah, we would need a larger lot for sure, and unfortunately, we didn't have that that day.
No, and there were people walking and stuff. We were getting a little nervous.
Right, right. Billy says, especially on an uphill, yeah, and we have plenty of those in Pittsburgh. So
yeah, that's next lesson. That's next lesson.
You might.
Hey, how many lessons do you think it takes to learn so I can take the vet out myself?
A lot. But no, one thing the Corvette does have for hills is it's called hill hold, and it will hold the brake when you're on an incline. It'll hold it for about 2 seconds, so you don't crawl back, and that kind of helps a newbie. But the same token, you got to get that clutch out within 2 seconds. So it's a little bit of a help, but it's not a huge help.
Yeah, and most sports cars do come in manual. Most sports cars.
Well, traditionally, yes, but a lot of new ones now are coming actually auto only, and in particular the C8 Corvette, which we've been talking about. It doesn't look like a manual transmission is going to be offered. So yeah, that's kind of a shame. And it is a dying it's a dying breed, manual transmission cars. So it is cool if you know how to do it, and really try to learn while you can, because it's going to be hard to find cars that are manual, and unless you get a used car or something. But yeah, it is going to get harder and harder to find manual transmission cars. But traditionally, the most performance was with a manual, the better fuel economy, more control. But that actually is not really the case anymore. A lot of times the automatics are getting better fuel economy, and they're faster because they shift quicker, and now they have more gears, so they get better fuel economy. So that's why they're kind of losing steam here. But they are fun to drive when you master it. So
yeah. Well, what's the magic number to master
it? It's a big number.
I really think there should have been more sessions. I keep telling him this, more sessions to show how I progressed through my learning, not just a small little snippet, because I really think I was getting the hang of it, but then we were done. And then if you don't do it, it's like anything, you forget. So if we wait too long till round 2, I'm going to have to learn everything all over again.
That's true, but it also is like riding a bike. Once you learn, you never forget. So
I love it. I think we're up to 600 views now.
Yeah, well, maybe if it goes over 1,000, we'll think about a session 2.
Oh, wait, we should do a poll. We should ask people, do
Yeah.
they want to see me drive it again? Not being taught, but just drive it, on the road.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh,
We're
drive
a
it.
little ways away from the road, but
Okay. I really didn't think so.
Billy says, took my wife 2 months to be decent, but she's still not ready for the hills. Yeah.
No.
And it's hard not to get hills here in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So
But you told me you didn't have to shift or anything if you were at a stop sign. You just kind of let it go and just roll. So you use that same theory for driving up a hill or down a hill?
I won't admit anything, but yes, you don't. Sometimes you just kind of come to a slow.
I've seen you roll. I've seen you roll. Oh, look! I got a vote. Drive it again. Thanks, Billy.
Steve says with a C8, no choice, auto only. Yeah, you're right, Steve.
Yeah. And look, Camaro that I love. You can get a manual in a Camaro.
Yeah, Camaro, same powertrain choices, really. The auto, 8-speed auto, or it's a 6-speed manual in the Camaro. Which would you go for, Car Girl?
What are my options again?
6-speed manual or 8-speed automatic?
I don't know. I like the manual. If I could learn how to do it, a couple more lessons, I'll be good to go. I'm a fast learner.
Yep. The only thing you really can't multitask. You can't be in your phone. You can't. I mean, not that you should be on your phone anyway, but
when am I on my phone?
Yeah, but yeah, it is fun once you get the hang of it.
Even says the Prius has a manual.
No.
That's funny. I believe that. I believe that. Probably.
You know what? I think maybe the original Prius. Maybe the original Prius had a manual, and also I think the Honda had a hybrid that was a manual for a time. I think the CRX and stuff like that. But yeah, really, it's tough anymore. The Jeep Wrangler has a manual. That's probably an easier one to learn on.
Oh my! Like the car we went in.
Yes.
That's dangerous. That's like a death trap. That's so dangerous.
I
would want to learn on that. I at least feel safe in the vet. I feel like I'm very safe. It's like a bucket seat. It fits me like a glove. I love being in the vet. But not that Jeep. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. That's dangerous.
and then the gear shifts are like so far. You have to like go first and like.
Oh yeah, wasn't the stick like this long?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I did like it though. I mean, I think I would probably, if I learned how to drive a stick, I would definitely buy a car with a stick because I think it looks cool, especially as a woman. You look very powerful if you're like right next to another car and you have to shift and then you pass them right up. That's quality driving right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I mean, a woman that drives a stick. Yeah, it's definitely, that's hot. A 70-ton M1 tank is an auto, and it's safe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tanks. I don't know how many speeds they have. How many speeds do they have, Steve? But I think they're diesels, so they probably have a lot of speeds.
I don't know. Well, would you get a Corvette that was not a manual, that was an automatic?
Well, perhaps with the C8, if I'm forced to. One thing with the C8 though, the auto is going to be a dual clutch transmission, so it's going to shift really quick. And actually, Porsche has a dual clutch. And if you remember, we took that Cayman for a drive, and that shifted really quick. And you could do it with the paddles and stuff. So I guess I'm not 100% happy with it, but I'm not also too disappointed since it'll have a great automatic, hopefully. So
Yeah.
Steve says he doesn't know about the speeds. He's flown helicopters.
Oh, wow.
And Steve says, "Go DCT. They are great." Yeah, yeah. The dual clutches are awesome. The only thing they're not great at is city stop and go driving because it does have a clutch. It's an automated clutch, so it may be a little jerky for stop and go, but we'll have to see. Hopefully, they tune it well. I'm a little worried it's just their first one ever for GM or Chevy, so they're gonna have to work the programming out, the bugs out. Hopefully, it'll be reliable. So, but I know Porsche has done it for years, and they are probably the best out there, the PDKs. So,
What should be the next car I drive? I have to think about it.
drive or drive manual?
Drive manual. I could test out a bunch of them.
Steve says he won't buy a first year C8. Yeah.
Why?
Well, he's worried about problems, and especially first time mid-engine. I think we kind of know that the engine is going to be a version of the LT1, LT2. If you watched the specs video a couple weeks ago, or the live stream, we went through all that. So I think the engine will be pretty reliable as long as they don't change too much on it. Transmission, we'll have to see. Yeah, the transmission is going to be a little tricky. The other thing we have to see is the cooling and all that, since they're going to put it, behind the driver now. But and then of course all the suspension and components and everything else have changed. Applejacks is on. Hey, Applejacks. I'm out trucking. We'll have to catch the show on Saturday. Cool. Yeah, no problem. And if you want to watch it back or listen to it back, you can always listen to it on iTunes podcast. And Steve, Applejacks, I'm not sure if you can do it live. That would be interesting. I obviously never tried it because I'm on, but you might be able to listen to it live on podcasts. So definitely look for CarGuy11 on podcasts from iTunes and see if you might be able to listen to it live. And Steve says, learn to drive a manual tractor in a very big field. That would be fun. Yes, those tractors are very easy because they're geared so low that basically you could just let the clutch out and you go very slow, but yeah.
I'll do anything once, I'm game.
Unfortunately, I don't have one of those either. So, and no, but I think if you learn how to drive stick, Mustangs, Camaros, the Porsches have manuals. A lot of the sports cars do still offer manual, but again, they're getting rarer and rarer. But
do they differ in price, Car Guy?
What's that?
They differ in price if they're a manual versus an automatic?
Well, again, traditionally they were always cheaper and autos were an extra cost option. But nowadays, even they're like a no cost option sometimes, or I've even seen them, they charge you for a manual. But no, traditionally, yes, they're cheaper. And in the C7 Corvette, yes, it was cheaper. The auto was I forget how much, $1,700, $1,500 option, 18, maybe it's 1,800. So but Uh, you know, another one I know you like, BMWs. They they used to always come in manual, but now the newer ones you can't even get a manual.
Oh,
And I think they don't charge extra for a manual, but it's the same price as an auto. Like they're the same price. So
Billy says 2 to 3 thousand difference. You know, that makes a difference because most kids today aren't learning how to drive manuals. So if you could save a few bucks as well.
absolutely. And before, especially, they used to get better fuel economy. They're easier to maintain. You don't have to change transmission fluid, and they usually were more reliable than an auto. Although you could screw up the clutch in a manual, which is a little pricey. It is pricey, especially if it's hard to get to or stuff like that. So yes, clutch job is expensive, but as long as you treat it well, it should last a very long time.
I didn't screw up your clutch though, right?
No, and that's why the way I taught you, we really weren't using the throttle. We were just letting out the clutch without the throttle. Because if you have a high RPM, a heavy throttle, and then you're releasing the clutch and not fully engaging it, you will burn it. So Billy says that will pay for a new clutch. Yeah, the price difference in the auto would pay for a new clutch. So yeah, that would be like 200,000 miles probably or more. So,
Well,
but all right, I think. What do you think? We're gonna wrap it up here. It's been about a half an hour.
okay.
Yeah, but anyway, great job, Car Girl. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you were interested in learning and you actually followed through and did it. It was again not the easiest car to learn on, so give you props for that.
I can't,
Um,
I just can't believe it.
yeah, it was harder than you thought, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I talk a big talk, but that was very, very difficult. Very difficult.
And Steve said you done good, so.
Well, thank you, Steve. Cheers. Happy Wednesday.
All right, guys. Well, we'll end it there. Next week, I am going to be, and actually, we're both going to be in New York for the New York Auto Show. I'll be actually attending the New York Auto Show. So,
I'll be attending what I like to call shopping.
yeah. Probably not going to have a CarGuy11 live next week unless I do it on my phone or, I don't know, but
Probably not.
probably not. But anyway,
it's a holiday.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned for New York Auto Show coverage. Stay tuned to Instagram and Facebook. I'll be posting on them while I'm there. And of course, there should be a normally scheduled video. This Saturday and then next Saturday. I'll try to have something ready for next week as well. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.